Hello, and welcome back to Emerge, the health podcast for busy, high performing women, and day 3 in our series on how to make New Year's resolutions stick and actually achieve success and results in the year 2022 when we're working on this. So today we're, coming to the culmination, I suppose, if you will, of taking the mindset work we've done. So just to recap, if you haven't been present for all of these, I'm going to invite you to go back and listen to them and do this in order. But, we looked at our old beliefs around whatever area it is that we want to work on. We created some new beliefs. We found some evidence that can disprove the old beliefs and help support our new beliefs. And then we made some mantras for that. So that was day 1. Kind of a lot. So, take your time with that. It'll keep evolving. Day 2, we did a building your compelling future exercise, meditation, if you will, relaxation thing, something to listen to. Hopefully, my voice is relaxing for all of you. And now, today, we're going to talk about how you actually put into place some tangible goals that will help you get to where you want to be. And I am going to have you do this not talking about SMART goals. If you don't know what SMART goals are, I will define them for you. They're the things that are defined as specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. There's nothing wrong with them. I just think they're super not sexy, and I kind of am like, meh, and hate setting them, and they don't inspire me in any way. And so over the years, and I do a lot of this work with my clients in my program, this is kind of like some of the first steps that we take on our journey together. We set dumb goals and slim goals. And so I'm going to walk you through how to actually do that today. The dumb goals we're going to start with, and this is not my baby. I got this from Brendan Bouchard, who, if you're not familiar with him, he does lots of personal growth and development type stuff. But he created the acronym for dumb goals, kind of as like a little knife to wedge in against SMART goals. And I thought it was hilarious and also really agreed with his concept here. And so what dumb goals are, and again, if you've downloaded the workbook that goes with this, it's in the show notes for each week, each day. We're doing days here, not weeks. It's listed in there. But if you're taking notes or just thinking about this, what dumb goals are is you start with your dream. So the D stands for dream, and you want to really go big with this. Like, what is the dream? And this is if you've ever talked to me in an initial consult or on a call just to get to know each other a little bit, I ask you this, like, what is your dream for your health, for your life, for relationships, like whatever it is, for money, finances, all that. What's your dream? And then the U is uplifting. Is it something that is uplifting and inspiring to you? This is where I think SMART goals kind of fall by the wayside and suck because they're not always uplifting. And part of why I really like this aspect of doing goal setting this way is so many of us get caught in the setting goals because we think it's what we're supposed to do or what society says or what whoever dictates, and so we're not really inspired or uplifted by the goals that we're setting. So, start with the dream and then make sure it's really uplifting to you. The M, this is where we start to break this down. So we have the dream, we have the big vision, we've done our compelling future, we, worked on our belief systems around all of this. And so now we're going to create, M and B stand for methods and behaviors. And so methods and behaviors are like, what are the things that we actually need to start doing in order to get there? Do you need to change your eating habits? So some methods around that could be how often you cook or how often you go to the grocery store, not going to the grocery store hungry, or trying some new vegetables. And behaviors are falling into that as well. So they kind of go hand in hand. Like method might be, changing nutrition or exercising, and then the behaviors are the things that you need to cultivate and build so that you are successful in those methods that are ultimately getting you to your uplifting dream. So hopefully all that makes sense. And if anyone needs help, like working through this, because I know sometimes when I set goals, I'm very visionary. So like the dream I got, and then like breaking it down into smaller steps can be hard. However, I'm actually good at helping other people do that. So if you need some help, please just reach out. I'm happy to do that. So that's one approach to goal setting, and one that I like. And I like to do both of these things that I'm about to explain. And so, again, we have our dream, it's uplifting, we have methods, and we have behaviors that are going to help us get there. If you need any examples or anything, just let me know. But, if the dream is to wear a bikini and be super confident in that, and like all the things that come with. I don't know that I love this example, but we're just going to use it. And that's uplifting to you, and that could look like whatever it looks like for you. What are some of the methods and behaviors that are going to get there? Well, exercise, movement is probably going to be one of them. How you eat is going to be another method that you're going to use to get there. I would say mindset work is another method that we're going to use to get there. Let's not leave that one out. That's where we started. And so the behaviors are going to be around, how often you're eating at home, what you're eating, how often you're exercising, what kind of workouts you're doing, how you're listening to your body so you don't get injured. The behaviors are going to be, what are you doing to train your mindset and keep yourself motivated? Are you listening to meditations like what we did yesterday? Are you, what are you reading? What are you feeding your mind with? Who are you talking to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you, we tend to emulate the people that we spend the most time with. So are you surrounding yourself with people who are going to help you get there, or are you with people who are eating, couch potatoes, eating potato chips? Like, you just have to look at that. So that's just an example that you can hopefully help to visualize and walk through. So again, we have that big dream. It's uplifting, methods, behaviors. Okay, so that's one route. And then we have what I call slim goals. And this is something I actually came up with, and it's designed specifically for the busy, high-performing woman who's dealing with selfless syndrome and doesn't know how to focus on herself. All right. And so what slim goals are, and again, in your worksheet, but slim goals are sustainable. They're a little less sexy than dumb goals, but I think they're really great because I came up with it. But sustainable, they are life-giving, they are inspiring, and they are mindful. And let me just kind of run through. Some of these sound similar, but they're a little bit different from each other. So sustainable, pretty obvious. We don't want to overcommit ourselves. We're not, if we haven't been exercising at all, we are not going to the gym 7 days a week for 3 hours a day, ladies. Like, we have to be realistic and take the baby steps with that, okay? So sustainable means like what's something you can do long term. It's about, we're running a marathon, we're not running a sprint here in terms of making changes. So you have to be thinking about that, especially those of you who have a ton on your plate already. Like, let's not be crazy about this, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Life-giving is kind of like uplifting, inspiring. Inspiring is, I think, my next. No, intentional is actually what I stands for. I haven't revisited these in a little bit. So life-giving, they're inspiring, they're uplifting, they're energizing, they're something you are actually excited about and not something you're doing because you think you should or because someone else says you should. It's like, it's about you and what really fills you up. All right. Intentional is I. And so intentional is like, what is the end result? Like, why are we doing this? What is the intention behind it? And is that intention something that you're good with? So, losing weight, for example, like, what is the actual intention behind you wanting to lose weight? Is it that you want to be healthier, that you want to be able to play with your kids? This is stuff I hear all the time. You want to be active in your old age. Awesome. All good intentions. Is it that you want to look sexy in a pair of skinny jeans? Awesome. That's still a good intention. If it is something that lifts you up, you just want to be clear on what your intention is behind it. If it's to, please somebody else, or that you feel like you're supposed to, or you have to, or, any of those, you got to find the more inspiring side of that, I would argue. And then the last piece is mindful. And what I mean by being mindful is like looking at your plate. One of the exercises I do with women in my program is what I call the yes no plate exercise, and it's looking at all the stuff we have piled on there. We've got the kids and the work and the school and the volunteer stuff and whatever our side hustle is and our marriage or significant other. Like, it's a lot of stuff, right? We can all get worked up talking about that. And when we start talking about making changes and setting new goals, a lot of us will just try to fit it onto that plate already. And so by mindful, like being mindful about it, we need to look at either like, are there things that we need to take off in order to be successful with whatever we're trying to do? Or do we need to be more realistic in either what our goal is, or what sustainability really looks like in how we combine all the things that we have going on? So hopefully that makes sense. So to recap, the slim goal part, we have it's sustainable, it's life-giving, it's intentional, and it's mindful, and just being mindful of what's already going on in our life and what can we sustainably take on that's inspiring to us, and what do we maybe need to get rid of or take off or, shift or delegate. There's a lot we can delegate in our life, ladies. It's all good stuff, but that will help us actually succeed at whatever we're trying to do. All right, so you have the worksheet, you have the workbook. Hopefully, this helps you think through some of this stuff just in a deeper way that will have you really be successful in setting New Year's resolutions. And what I would love to know, from going through this, from starting this, looking at, your beliefs around it, what the area is, and like really getting clear on a lot of the mindset stuff, and then creating that vision and what your compelling future is going to look like. And then from there, and that place, setting some goals, whether it's, your dream and it being up like dumb goals or slim goals. You can set SMART goals if you want to. I'm not saying you can't do that. I just don't get inspired by them, and I know a lot of people who don't. So I give you some other options. But, how this process is for you and how it feels going into the new year. And I would love to know, what things you've come up with that maybe are different from what you originally were thinking, or maybe it's the same and you just have a better grounding and understanding of how you're actually going to get there. Either way, I would love to hear from you, whether you post in the Facebook group, where this is also going. Again, the link to join that is in the show notes if you're not in there, or just send me an email. Again, my email's in the show notes also, but dralex@emergentwomencoaching.com. I would just love to know what are the goals? What are you up to in this coming year? And if you need support, how can I help support you? But, ultimately, like how this experience has been and what you've been able to come up with from doing it this way. So that concludes our 3-part series on creating New Year's resolutions that actually stick, the Dr. Alex version. And again, I hope this is helpful, beneficial. You've been able to take some time for yourself and really do some digging and some soul searching and some thinking, and have like some awesomeness to go into the new year next week with. I will see you in the new year. We will be back to our normal, solo show and interview. I've been kind of collecting interviews and interviewing people pretty far before the episodes are released. So we have a lot of really great stuff coming up in the new year that I'm excited to share with you. And with that, Happy New Year to everybody, and we will see you in January.